Guess who's back from the dead after moving? Me. Hey, hi, hello, it's Tokencarnie. Welcome back to Professionally Unprofessional. This is episode 2 of our interview with Chloe from Barrio Letterpress. If you haven't already checked that one out, you can find the link in the description box or right here where the title cards show up. So let's do an interview, shall we? In the last episode, we talked with Chloe about where Barrio Letterpress came from, what she does, what it means to be a letterpress artist, and we kind of ended on the fact that it's a real passion job that can be physically demanding on your body. So in this episode, we're going to pick up right where we left off. So if you want to learn more about the letterpress industry and how to build a different professional life outside of the 9-to-5, our free Facebook group teaching you how to take control of your situation and build a career. I know that's something that's really up in the air right now in the middle of Rona. So if you want to learn the steps and different tools that you can take to kind of become your own boss, like we have here at Professionally Unprofessional, stay tuned. And if you would like to know how to win one of Chloe's Manifesting Magic kits, stay tuned till the end. But before this interview starts, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure to comment during this video so that we can know what other content to bring to you. And we will see you at the end. Bye.
He's been operating them so long that he's had 2 hip replacements.
Oh.
And I'm like, either your joints was bad before or letterpress really fucks up your body. And he was like, it's a combination of both, but certainly would not have required 2 hip replacements if I wasn't a letterpress, like a printer. A press operator is the like technical title, but he was, he said like, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I've also seen injuries like torn rotator cuff, and so the type of press that I have is operated by pulling a lever towards you, and we're talking like the machine itself, the piece of equipment weighs like roughly 80 pounds, and it's 100% cast iron.
Yeah, I've seen, because I saw the one you just bought, like the Big Bertha old one that you just bought, so exactly. It's not tiny.
No, it's not. And so when you're pulling that lever, people who work in a printing, like a press operator position, they're pulling prints for hours on hours a day. And so I was reading about a gentleman who said, as much as I would love to use this press, I've had like my torn rotator cuff, so many times, like it's torn so many times, I'm giving it up. And to me, it's kind of a testament to how hard people work. Right now, letterpress printing is it's an aesthetic. I'm not gonna sugarcoat.
100%.
It's definitely like a niche market where people are like, I want something very fancy that looks very cool and I want to be special. That's great because that pays my bills. However, in the past, this was very much like a craft, a trade, where it would be similar to being a mechanic. All the people I meet that are printers or press operators, they have like the gnarled hands from being tinkering with machines, and like they're always so greasy, and like they're 100% like thoroughly bearded, clad head to toe.
And then there's you.
Yeah, and then there's me. I'm like this little brown girl from Washington Heights, like what's up? And so that's been a very interesting kind of part of this to navigate, is holding my own in that community, because it's not like common. And there are definitely more women now, but I think it's safe to say that maybe even 20 years ago it was like a predominantly male what's that word?
Industry.
Yeah, thank you. And so it's definitely been interesting. I think I have a lot of feelings about like how it feels to be like an outlier, so to speak, but I've always felt that way in my life, like in a lot of different circumstances. So it doesn't feel like totally like terribly novel. And I've gotten really good at navigating spaces like this. But yeah, it's always interesting when people meet me, especially because I do have like a more neutral name, if I can't say. I mean, I can say it. You said before, like I have a very white first name, so when people see me, they're like, "Oh shit."
Neutral.
Okay. Yeah. But you know, there aren't very many Dominicans named Chloe, and so at least not over the age of 5.
Fair, very
or
valid.
So big, and so that's kind of where my passion lies. Also, is changing the face of this industry so that it feels more inviting and accepting for people that look like me.
We love it. We love seeing intersectionalism. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah,
inclusivity.
Yeah, like you
and
doing
also
all of this and seeing all of that. Like, I think that's fantastic. Not to mention, from the letterpress things that I have seen, it is a very masculine isn't the word I want to use, but the shapes and the design and everything is very hard. Like it's very hard edges, whereas I feel that your work that you put out is very soft and feminine and still within that. Like, you can tell it's letterpress, you can appreciate the skill and everything that goes into it, but it has such a different energy to it versus something else that you see. And, you know, most people only know these things from Instagram or Pinterest when people post stuff, and it's just very stylized and perfect, and everything is picture perfect, and you're like, okay, this is annoying because it's fake. But
can't do that.
None of your things are like that. Like, all of your things are very down to earth. They're very down to earth.
Yes, thank you. I tried to be like the flat lay girl, and
it's hard.
I hired a photographer to, like, you know, I have a lot of good friends who are photographers, and I was like, listen, one of you bitches come take nice pictures of my work for me. And they blew it out of the park, but it doesn't feel like me.
There's no personality.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, the personality is there, but it doesn't feel like my personality. It feels too, like, curated to be, you know, coherent with my brand. Because my brand is very much like off the cuff, New York City, like, we're just living day to day, and, you know, we keep it real, we keep it honest. One of the things people love about my brand the most is that I'm, like, always showing off my, like, family life. And a lot of people say, like, I feel like I know you, and I'm like, that's good.
That's the point.
That's what I want.
Neighborhood.
Exactly, and it's not to me, it's not contrived. Someone asked me. I had a coaching call with one of my branding clients this week, and he said, so at what point did you decide to join your personal and your professional Instagram? And I was like, I never said that. I was like, that is not a conscious decision that I made. It just happened.
That's how mine is.
Like, I still very much have my personal Instagram, you know, but I just feel like if my clients, my ideal clients, my, you know, entrepreneur friends are my people, then my Instagram and all my profiles should speak to that. And so, you know, I post about my coffee addiction like if I'm talking to my friends. So
yeah, but at the same time, people don't buy a brand because they want the brand. They buy the person behind it. And, like, yes, I understand that I referenced Louis Vuittons earlier, and, you know, fashion and things are different. But when it comes to supporting a brand and loving it and, like, people staying with what you're doing, is they attach to you personally. So if you're just like, this is my art and this looks good, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that's part of what I think distinguishes me from, you know, like, some of the bigger box, even though they're online based, like, I consider them like big box stores for stationery. Because sure, you can go on a website and order your invitations with, like, little to no human interaction. But to me, that doesn't fulfill my clients. Like, my clients come to me because they want something unique to them entirely. Or they want something that's, like, so specific, you know, that they say, okay, we need to get a professional involved in this. And oftentimes it does become an experience where it becomes more than whatever they hired me to do. I'm a firm believer in under promise, over deliver.
Oh, and 100%.
So it plays into that experience, right? Like, I have some clients who, they don't know this, but I've already, like, set up a whole surprise for, like, their wedding. And, you know, just with everything that's going on, to me, it's like the little bit that I can do to go, like, that one step further is just it's part of the brand because I want to deliver on what I promised, but then I also want to make sure you know that like you can stick with me. You know what I mean? Like I want to do my wedding clients. I want to do your kids like first birthday invitations. I want to design your greeting cards for Christmas. Like I want to be your go-to stationer because to me that's building the community aspect of this. And almost, I will say this openly, and I'm going to like self-drag for a second, but one of the things I've done really poorly in terms of like running my business is I don't advertise myself well. I think it comes from a combination of like being a little bit on the side of like imposter syndrome, but also just like I'm still getting my shit together, so to speak. And
See, from an audience perspective of someone who's seeing your things, I 100% disagree with you. I 100% disagree because I see the things you post and I see the things you talk about, and in my brain I'm just like, why are people not doing this? Like when you posted the Manifesting Magic cards right off the bat, I was just like, I want one, and then I went to go look at it and they were sold out before I even got a chance to do anything. So I completely disagree that you're not good at advertising, because for you, you're not trying to sell something. You're just trying to create and share what you have, and I think that says that's so much more, and that's gonna like go for you in the long run. And even if it gets to the point where it's like you can't produce as many things as you have coming in, to me that's not a bad problem to have.
No, absolutely, I accept that problem openly.
Like we're good.
Like
thanks.
Yes, thank you. My goal. People say this all the time. Like, do you want to quit teaching? Because I didn't mention this, but I'm a full-time teacher, and that's not like at the front of my mind. It's not like what I think about when I'm like printing on the press. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to quit teaching. Like I love teaching. Do I love teaching during a pandemic? Absolutely not. But in general, I love.
We don't need to go into that one.
Yeah, and so for me, it's not about replacing my career. Like I've worked really fucking hard to be a teacher and to be a good teacher and to, be where I am professionally in terms of that side of my life. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is something that I can do equally well, if not better, because I'm even more passionate about it. Like this was literally born out of, not to be like too hokey, but like Barrio was born out of like the flames of my life at the time, because I really found
we're not talking flames of passion, guys. We're talking flames of this is a garbage fire.
This is literally a dumpster fire. You cannot look away. And so many of my family members like rallied behind me and were like, you're gonna be fine and everything's gonna be great. Once the school paperwork clears, like you'll go back.
That's
to
cool. You can say that all you want, but that's a lot different when you're the person living in it.
100%. And like I was going. So this is the thing. I was unemployed, home with my child. My husband was going to work because obviously somebody has to. And
thanks, hubby.
Yeah, gotta love him, honestly. And sometimes I still get like a little bit triggered. I'm like, wow, I really put us through some shit. And he's so gracious. He's like, well, it's better than like what the outcome would have been if you had stayed there. And so I, if he can accept it, then I'm working on it. But my whole thing is that, every day I just wanted to like curl up in a ball and be like, that's it. Like I'm a failure because I fucked up this like one thing. Because I'm an overachiever. I always have been. I'm a lazy overachiever, but I get my shit done and I do it well. And so this was like very new to me, this experience of like, I made a bad choice and it is backfiring tremendously. And it doesn't just affect me, right? Like I'm thinking like, oh my God, my kid's gonna be eating salads soon and I don't have any money to buy foods. Like it was crazy. And so the whole thing about, not being working, put me in a place where I said, okay, I can either like give into these like shitty feelings or I can make something positive come out of it. And even when I got a job, so like when I found a new teaching position and I was able to like get back on my feet financially, so to speak, I was like, dang, I feel like some people would have said like, okay, you can let Barrio go because you don't technically need it anymore. But it fueled me even more. Like I was like, no, now I have to do my job really well so that I have the extra time to like still be a mom, still be a human, still be a wife, like be a family member. Like I had to like compartmentalize my life in such a way that I can still be professional and also have my business. And when people find out that I'm an entrepreneur, I have 2 businesses, BT Dubs. So if anyone out there is wondering, like, can I do multiple things with my life? Like, fuck yes.
Yes. As we're sitting on one of my 4 podcast channels,
Exactly.
YouTube, my website, like, you can do multiple things for your passion, especially for you. I think going into where people are like, oh, you can give this up. Those people don't understand that when you started this was therapy for you. Like, you didn't start this as I'm going to make money. I mean, it turned into that. Thank you. But it was one of those situations where it was like, I need something to help myself meditate, relax, find clarity. And that's the same thing with me in this. Like, I was journaling for my own use. And then it turned into something that other people wanted. So you just start sharing it. So when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I have to go back to my regular job now. And people are like, well, you can give this up. Why? I spent so much time and passion and energy into this. Like, why would I give it up?
And that's a thing that comes to, I've gotten really good at explaining why, you know, I'm part of this network of entrepreneurs, and so many of them are like, come on, make your brand successful so that you can quit your job. And I'm like, I don't want to quit my job. I know that this is like a foreign concept to you, but I don't mind. You know, there are days where I'm like, I hate this, and this doesn't let me do this with my time, and I wish I had more flexibility. But like, that is not the intent. And it doesn't color my perception of like what I'm able to do within the time that I have. As far as like being a full-time, when people find out, like my clients, I'm always very forthcoming, and I say like, hey, I know you saw on my Instagram that I have a toddler. I know you might have seen that I'm a school teacher. Like, this does not deter my clients from wanting to work with me because they know that I show up. And so to me, just forces me to be better at customer service and be more mindful of like who I am and how I give.
It's crazy to talk to other entrepreneurs and other people that are, your business is everything, and they expect you to be this perfectly professional image, have everything separated and put in these little boxes. And then here you and I are on my podcast, professionally unprofessional, where you can have the separation between the two. You can be really good at what you do and still have a life on the outside that blend perfectly together. And it's really endearing to show that to other people and just be like, well, yes, I am a mom. Yes, I am a full-time teacher. I also create something that is a very difficult, beautiful thing to do. And I love every minute of all of this mess that is my life.
Like, so, it's crazy, but I love it.
I mean,
even my students,
can't imagine other things.
I really couldn't.
If you like what we do here at Professionally Unprofessional and you want to support us, you can either go to patreon.com/Redhead Runaway, or you can join our free Facebook group. It's going to be teaching you different tools and tricks and things that you can do to establish your own career, be self-employed, and do what you want outside of that traditional 9-to-5. If you would like to learn more about this Facebook group that is coming, be sure to sign up for our newsletter because we're going to be sending the updates as they happen. Thank you so much to Chloe for being here for part 2 of her interview. If you like what we do at Redhead Runaway, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an update and you'll be notified. I'm still messing it up, but we're going to keep going because I don't feel like stopping anymore. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you can be notified every time a new video comes out. And we will see you next time for the final chapter of Chloe's interview with Professionally Unprofessional. Okay, bye! I'm starting this wrong, as per usual.
I'm like the most type B Virgo that ever existed. When people are like, Virgos are so uptight and organized, I'm like, where?
I'm a type A Libra.
Oh, pass.
I'm doing things that are wrong again. Fuck.